Blue Lock Chapter 339 has just been released, and this has to be the best chapter in recent time as we see double jokers finally getting their chance. And there's another wild card subbing in, so without wasting any time, let's get into it. Chapter starts with a visual of locker room with Ryo standing. This first half of Japan versus France is finally over. Then we see conversation between players as Eiku speaks that he can see why France is the #1 team in the world, and he speaks about Yugo like how good he is. Then we see the best panel of Bachira so far anyway. Then Bachira tells that they are ahead by only one goal, and if they fix their strategy in the second half, they could still win. Like, bro, let's be real, your strategies ain't gonna work on this demons. Then we see Ri speaking as he tells all of their attacks starting with Isagi Yoichi are dead. But Bachira defends Isagi by saying that they have built this team around Isagi Yoichi. But Ryo counters it by saying that that's why their attacks are failing. But Bachira still has faith left in Isagi as he tells that we could make something work. But then Ryo says that if this humiliation ritual continues, they will ultimately lose without proper fight. Then scene shifts to Karasu as he tells everyone to chill out and they can make new patterns out of Hiyori goals, as Karasu will now play as second best for the sake of team instead of Isagi. So let's run with that strategy. Then we see Ego Jinpachi in the next panel as he calls out Karasu and asks him in a cold manner that is he trying to kill Blue Lock, as Karasu looked shocked. Ego then continues by saying that if France is a team made out of handpicked players suitable for their talent, then do you think Japan has a chance of winning? The answer is no. If we live according to our suitability, then we could never change the world, and it will prove that we are weak. Then we see Ego explaining to everyone why he told them to become #1 because he thinks that going beyond suitability is the heart of Blue Lock. Ego then goes further and challenges the players to imagine living 100 lifetimes. He posits that even with an incredibly optimistic outlook, the radical pursuit of a goal that defies logic and personal suitability. As the scene shifts to the players in the locker room, Ego emphasizes that this singular, miraculous success would never occur if they simply knew their place. He defines an egotist as someone who lives exclusively for that 1 in 100 chance, discarding safety for the sake of an absolute breakthrough. Then we see Jinpachi Ego and Henri discuss the cold reality that their current approach ain't working. Ego's dialogue serves as a philosophical core for Blue Lock. Progress requires the destruction of the past. Then Ego delivers the strategic that the team is officially dropping the Yoichi Isagi-centered strategy and forces every player, including Isagi, Hiyori, and Rin, to reevaluate their individual worth on the pitch. Then scene shifts on Loki as he demands more line-breaking passes from Charles. Loki's in calm face says that Earth will be sad if he doesn't score. Charles playfully retorts, promising nasty passes, highlighting high-level chemistry between France's two biggest threats. Hugo joins Loki and Charles, predicting that the match will soon get messy. As the French team walks toward the tunnel, the roar of the stadium fills the panels. Then we see a Shidou, Barou, and Kunigami subbing in, as we see a very intense panel of them, as Blue Lock Japan have subbed out Nico, Bachira, and Chigiri. We see Bachira saying they've been dismissed, and Chigiri screams for Kunigami to give them hell. Then we see the formation for second half, and as Isagi speaks that the formation been shifted to all-out offense strategy around Isagi have been obliterated. Then we see the next panel with caption, "This is the worst situation," and Hugo is standing right next to Isagi, and Isagi speaking to himself. There's someone with more talent and dream than him, likely referring to Hugo. Isagi speaks that his ego is screaming for second half as he's feeling excited. I will drop the next chapter this week as the new chapter and chapter 341 would capture some intense actions between U20 Japan and Blue Lock.